Welcome to Treasures of Mt Shasta. I'm your host, Michaela Cordeo, and each show we bring you some wonderful guests and take you on a visual trip to some of the very special places around the mountain. And we've added a new feature last month where Barbara J. Semple brings us a healthy moment where she introduces Healing Touch Quick Steps to us. So our guest is going to be Alex Colvin, but we're going to start with the Healing Touch Quick Steps, and our camera crew is going to be lining that up. Barbara's been working with these techniques for over 20 years and has really simplified it to a process that everyone can benefit and improve their health in just a few short moments with a few things. So that's going to be queued up in a second, and we'll be able to watch that.
Hi everyone, it's Barbara J. Semple, self-healing advocate, again with the Healing Touch Quick Steps Healthy Moment. Today's healthy moment is called Gives You Wings, and we have a few people up here to join with us to apply this Healing Touch Quick Step, and I invite the audience to follow along with us. Now this one called Gives You Wings is very simple. You're going to place your hands on your mid-upper arm with the thumbs on the inside of your arm. And it helps coughing, by the way. You're going to make sort of like a C-clamp with your hand, so the thumb part is on the inside. And you're going to relax your shoulders now. Just drop your shoulders. Let them come down, Rose. Let your shoulders really come down. Relax your fingers, hands. And Gives You Wings, healthy moment, helps you, it clears everything of the upper back. We can't fly if we're bogged down with all the stuff we put behind us right at our upper back. So relax your shoulders, fingers, arms, and simply be with your body's natural system of healing for a couple of moments now. Simply be, notice any changes, no worries, simply be. This Healing Touch Quick Step Healthy Moment helps with your breathing, coughing, lung stuff, and it helps everything descend down the front that you don't want anymore. And it lets you soar and receive the infinite outpouring of the abundance of the universe. So if you need abundance in your life, give yourself wings. Now, let's see how everybody feels from that. Let's start with Hoovy first.
What I felt my whole body center and flying.
Wow.
It's just something came from a bowl and center this light and just get expanded.
Wow, that's amazing. Did everybody get that? Raised and light and expanded. That's outstanding. I guess that goes with Gives You Wings. How about you, Rose?
I felt my healing energy flow and relax down my body, making me feel lighter and feel like I could actually fly.
Wow, that's so cool. Now, I need to say before we go to Andrea that these guys were not coached. This is the first time they've ever experienced Healing Touch Quick Steps. This is totally amazing. Very, very good. How about you, Andrea?
Well, what I've been amazed with all your movements is they're so gentle. And there's just this kindness and sweetness. And so I felt that go into my body, and just, it was like effervescent.
Wow.
And that's what I was feeling. But so gentle. It's so amazing. These touches are just, it's not like
Absolutely.
Very appreciative of that, of what what you're offering.
Wow, this is so wonderful. You all explained it better than I ever could. Thank you so much. So this was the healthy moment called Gives You Wings. Thanks, everybody.
Wow, that was great. We filmed a series of those exercises a couple of weeks ago, and we just happened to have studio audience that were from all over the world, so it was great to have them participate. And I'm sure you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it tremendously because it was exactly what I needed. The upper back tension and everything like that, I mean, wow.
Well,
Couldn't have read it better.
let me introduce you to everyone. This is Alex Colvin. He's our guest. I first met him at the Center for Positive Living in Mt Shasta, where Alex was giving a talk on his new religion called Confusionism. And of course, you can imagine that this has a certain amount of humor in it. So we're going to have Alex tell us a little bit about his background and how he came to create such a unique experience.
Confusionism as a personal thing for me originated very simply because I was going through a transition and I was confused. And people asked me, some people asked me what my religion was, and I said, well, I don't know. So then in order to have an answer for them, I told them Confusionism. And then I found that people were interested in what that was. They would usually say, Confucianism? No, Confusionism. Oh, what's that? So then I had to make up a mythology. And then for the Center for Positive Living, when they invited me back to speak, I had to write a book of Genesis so that we would have, a nice piece and package that we could give people that wanted to know about it.
Yes, well, you've written this book, The Handbook of Confusionism, for those people who want to know more. And you have a website on YouTube, right?
Well, I have both a YouTube site and a MySpace site.
Oh,
so
and
you can
MySpace,
go to
right.
MySpace/Alex Colvin, and there's a link to the YouTube site there.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And several of your talks at the church are on YouTube, I think. Is that right?
Yes, one of them is, and I think I'll get the other one up
The other
soon.
one will be up soon.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of putting the handbook up on my personal profile site on MySpace.
Oh, terrific.
I want to just say one brief thing, which is that this handbook is not trying to convert you to being confused or being a Confucianist. The handbook is, if you are confused, this is a handbook to help you get through it so that you
Thank
can
you,
move
yes.
from Confucianism to fusion.
Yes, because I think we might have been confused about that otherwise.
Maybe so.
Yes.
We wouldn't want that.
Well, one of the very interesting things about you, Alex, is that you have 3 master's degrees. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how they were part of this journey?
Okay, well, I don't know for other people, but for me, life as a whole has been a religious journey.
Yes.
And so, I went to school in the 60s. A lot of things were going on.
Yes.
And I quit school, hitchhiked around the country. I ended up following a religious path in life. As a part of that, I attended seminary. And while I was a seminary, I specialized in studying world religions. So my first master's degree was in divinity, but my thesis was in Islamic mysticism. And I also had the opportunity to travel to Israel, Rome, Thailand, China, India, 8 different countries, studying world religions with people from a whole bunch of different religions.
That's fantastic.
So I had a lot of exposure to different things. The second one was after I graduated, I worked kind of in a nonprofit organization for a group called American Constitution Committee in Maryland. And along with that, I thought it would be good to beef up some of my understanding of legal things. So I got a master's degree in legal and ethical studies, specializing a lot in constitutional and family law. And through that, I got involved working as a consultant with various media organizations. So I went back to school and got a master's degree in publications design in a program that was evolving into a communications design program. So even a lot of what you're doing, but focusing more on graphic design, writing, internet skills.
Fantastic. Well, I know you're multi-talented, and you're going to be sharing some of your music. Tell us a little bit about the principles of Confucianism before you play us a song.
All right,
please.
I can do that in a nutshell. I think that there's three things that are really, really important in life. It's not the only three, but I think that a connection with whatever it's like the Desiderata says, be at peace with God, whatever your concept might be. So a connection with transcendent divinity. Secondly, love, I think, is of central importance to life. Thirdly, freedom. I believe that freedom is very important value, and creativity, freedom and creativity. Now, what you believe about those things is totally irrelevant, because you can have doctrines or beliefs that, make sense, but if you're not experiencing those things, that's what's important. So what you believe is not important, what you experience is important. And so in life, it's important to experience love, freedom, and creativity. Now, if you really want to experience those things, in my view, you are going to have to go through periods of confusion.
I certainly do. My mantra for many years was, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's good. And then we'll say, the best way to achieve kind of growth for me is to listen to people of all points of view. Because the people that you disagree with, if they have strongly held beliefs, they are true to them. And so try to get in their heads and experience from their point of view, because you probably have something to learn from them. And if you do that with all different types of viewpoint, that's why you'll get through the confusion. But I believe there's an intuitive power in life that will guide you through and help you to process that information, so that not only can you achieve some state of clarity or fusion in your mind, but it will lead you to being more free, being more loving, and being more creative.
Wow. Well, are you ready to play us a song?
Sure.
I've certainly been enjoying your music in the church.
By the way, I will just mention that the origin of confusion is in ancient times, when two brothers, Pro and Con, disagreed. Pro was very intellectual, analytical, and dialectical in his thinking, and that thinking conquered the world much as it has our world in the last 400 years. When that divided the world, and people, families, nations, and everything were in conflict over these ideologies, thesis versus antithesis, they eventually went back to Con, who was much more meditative, internal, and reflective, to ask him to help solve the problem. And so they came and said, confuse us. And that was the actual original origin of Confusionism. The modern day prophet of Confusionism is an imaginary character named Al-Salami, who runs a delicatessen in Brooklyn and vacations in my imagination. This is a song that kind of relates to it, that I wrote about the same time that in a humorous way. I want everybody to understand this is all a joke, There's nothing serious about this. But anyway, around the same time one day I was actually practicing with blues chords, but instead of writing a blues song, I sat down for a minute and the lyrics for this came into my mind, called Absolute Reality. If you want to know the truth, gotta let go of the concepts. If you want to know the truth, gotta let go of the dogma, 'cause absolute reality just won't be limited. Absolute reality just won't wear a straitjacket. Now if you want to be free, you gotta be yourself. If you want to be free, yeah, you gotta be yourself. You've got to know what you want. You gotta open up. You gotta be yourself. It ain't no good to hide your love inside. You gotta be yourself. And if you wanna find love, you gotta let your guard down. If you wanna find love, gotta make yourself vulnerable. You've got to take a chance if you wanna dance with love. And if you want to keep love, gotta be ready for commitment. If you want to keep love, well, you may be committed. Yeah, be honest and true. It's easy to do if you want to keep love. Now if you want to know God, you know you really got to have a little sense of wonder. If you want to know God, yeah, you got to have a sense of wonder. And don't be afraid of the lightning or the thunder. If you want to know life, gotta move into the mystery. If you want to know life, gotta move with the mystery. 'Cause if you close your eyes, you just might find it's your history. So if you want to know the truth, gotta let go of the concepts. If you want to know the truth, gotta let go of the dogma. Hey, what happened to the dogma? I let it go. You let go of the dog? No, I let go of the dogma. Concept's just a tool, so don't be a fool. Let go. Absolute reality just won't be limited. No absolute reality just won't wear a straight jacket.
Oh, great. I love that song. So you're extremely multi-talented, and you brought some slides of pictures to show
Yeah.
us, and they're going to be up on the screen in a second. You can tell us about them.
Okay. Well, I think, when I was getting that third degree,
Third degree, that's
the
good.
communications thing, the most significant part of it was when I took a poetry workshop.
Uh-huh.
And in doing the poetry workshop, I found that I couldn't write under my existing personality.
Uh-huh.
So I asked the professor, can I write under a pen name? When I wrote under a pen name, through my poetry, all these different things came out. Mm-hmm. And so I decided I want to do more poetry. I sort of stopped writing poetry and playing music again. And then that brought up, I used to do a lot of drawing, that brought up the art. I felt like, okay, maybe it was a midlife crisis or whatever, but it's time to be myself, and the way that I've been able to work towards finding myself is through music, art, and poetry.
Fantastic. So, well, we were hoping that they were going to bring up some pictures, but do you happen to have any of your poetry with you? If they're not going to be, oh, here we go, pictures.
Here we go, okay. This I'd never painted before, and I was down in Oakhurst, down by Yosemite, and an artist said to me, I think that you should move from drawing with pastels to painting. So I went and got some acrylic for paints, and when I was out in Maryland, sat down with a friend, and I thought, let's see what I can do with red, yellow, and green. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing about this is I turned the painting around as I did it. I don't expect you to do this. But this painting actually is a different picture depending upon which way you set it. And it's so you can turn it any one of four ways and it'll do it. But I was just experimenting with color and to see what would happen. And I call that one Henry from this side. And then this one is another acrylic that I just did. I'm not sure if it's finished. That's why it's not signed on there, because I'm not sure if I like the eyes. But this, when the gentleman asked me what inspired things, this I believe is because we've just been through that Israeli war.
Yes,
and the Middle East is a lot on my mind. This actually, I was just painting it to go with a gold frame. And so I started with blue and red because I figured those could go well, and then had a center. And then I look at it. I sort of like surrealistic technique where you can do an etching, you can paint things on, but then you look at it, and then you let your unconscious show you like a Rorschach test what's there, and then you draw that out and refine it. So this is a friend of mine actually that lives down in Arizona named Heather, and so I used a photograph. This one is pastels, and it's interesting. In the photograph, there's none of the crazy stuff. There's a picture of her. But that's, once again, the kind of thing is like that I like to let my imagination run free. Mm-hmm. And so while the image is relatively true to the photograph and what she looks like, I like to let my unconscious work when I'm painting or whatever. And this is a friend of mine in New York named Roxy who asked me if I would do a drawing of her, so I went ahead and did that. and she appreciated it.
That's great.
And this is one that I did a while back. I love symbols and different kinds of things, so when people ask me what this one is, then I tell them this is a self-portrait.
I see. Not quite. I mean, I don't see, but yes. Okay. Well, I think we still have a little bit of time. If you wanted, do you have something you'd like to share from the religious tradition of Confusionism, or some poetry that you might have brought with you?
Boy, I left my poetry books over there because I didn't. But yeah, since we have the three, then I will do a couple of poems that I have off the top of my
perfect.
head. One, I'll start with this one I wrote when I was in high school, and it's called Night and Day. And a lot of the poetry that I write, if I were to read some, it would be more free verse. These ones are rhyming. But
Okay.
Back when I was 17 years old, this one I called Night and Day.
Okay.
Night, after hours of scheming and planning, conquers the world and her light once more. And knowing no way to defeat her terror, man smothers the candle and closes the door and hides in his bed and pulls up the covers of sleep and hides in his bed from the fear and frustration and worry and wonder and pain and despair, and pulls up the covers of sleep and creation and dreams that his troubles have gone and aren't there. But then in the morning the sun has appeared to conquer the darkness and make the land bright, and man sees his troubles are less than he feared, for the day has restored what he lost to the night. So he puts on his armor of honor and love and enters the battle against saddening thought. And when his life's over, he rises above and meets his creator and is glad he has fought.
Wow. So you've really had this deep insight really since your youth.
I think as a youth, you're more open to inspiration. And so I had
that's a
that.
great
Because
poem.
I was the kind of kid who would wake up in the middle of the night, write poems. And my English teacher said, I've had a lot of students, I think you could actually be a poet, but I would get another job first.
Oh, yes. Well, we're going to put in our regular feature here, the mountain moment.
Okay,
And if we have a
great.
little bit of time at the end, we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
We might have room for one more poem
All right.
or some other thought that you want to close with. So we're visiting Bernie Falls because I know you're living near there.
Right.
And you also travel back and forth and live in a town called Bernie.
I have a home in Bernie, California, and I have a home in Glen Burnie, Maryland.
Glen Burnie, Maryland. Okay,
Right.
so we're going to be visiting. Here's some hikers going down to the water. And you can begin to see the falls there's quite a trail down from, you get a view up above and then you go on down. So just imagine yourself going on this visual journey and to know that as you get closer and closer to the water, there's this freshness and this awesome splendor of this water cascading down. And you can throw your troubles in the water and know that just as water continues to flow and to move, so too does your life continue to flow and to move. And rainbows appear and little miracles happen, and they come to you and they lift you up at unexpected moments. So just remember, there's beauty all around you. Open your eyes to see it. Appreciate the water. Especially here in Mt Shasta, it's a miracle, the cleanliness and the purity of the water that we have. So just appreciate it. Let your troubles flow down the river. Let yourself go with the flow. There's a lot of change happening now. Just don't hold on. Be like the water and just flow. Okay, so we still do have a couple of minutes.
Well, I think I might just comment on that. It's for people that want to
Okay.
come over and see it. Bernie Falls, you know, she took you on the hike down the falls, which is magnificent, and it's an excellent aerobic hike.
Yes.
Because going down and coming back up. But you also, Lake Britain is only about 1.5 miles down, and there is a trail through the woods that you go down, and then there's a beautiful wooden bridge across there where the stream is. You saw the stream. So it's a wonderful hike. When you get to the bridge, if you want, you can continue on and hike down to Lake Britain, which is beautiful, or you can cross the bridge and hike on up the other side of the stream and come out on the top of the falls. And you get a lot more incredible views over there. So
Wow.
just to add to your mountain moment.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was just spectacular the day I was there. I was just struck over and over. Every second I was taking another picture. Well, do you have one last thought you'd like to leave people with?
I can leave a last poem if you want.
That would be great. We have
That in this time of transition for our country and for the world. So I think the world and our country, 20 seconds? Don't know if I can do it in 20 seconds. So I will just say to everybody, take it easy, take a breath, feel the love, be yourself, live in the now, and maybe somehow you'll find peace.
Thank you so much. It's been great having you. I love your music. Your art is just really exciting with the colors. And we want to thank everyone for joining us today. We'll leave you with our blessing and our hope that you will pass through confusion into
Fusion.
fusion. Thank you.